Kal Halal Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai Ba'Shem Rachah Kodash Barakatah Yahweh Barakatah Yahweh Shai.
Shalom. Righteous truth and great minister and GM at Shalom.
All right, that's right. And the title of this lesson is All the Families of Israel. We're going to start in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 30 and verse 1. The word that came to Jeremiah from the Lord, saying, Thus speaketh the Lord God of Israel, saying, Write thee all the words that I have spoken unto thee in the book. And the Lord in this passage is talking about the Most High Yahweh. Verse 3. For lo, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will bring again the captivity of my people, Israel and Judah, saith the Lord, and I will cause them to return to the land that I gave to their fathers, and they shall possess it. So the Most High is coming to deliver his people, which is Judah and Israel. Verse 4. And these are the words that the Lord spake concerning Israel and concerning Judah. For thus saith the Lord, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. Ask ye now, and see whether a man doth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness. Verse 7. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. So that's going on right now. It's occurring right now.
It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. I don't think the other piece got to the phone. So yeah.
For it shall come to pass that in that day, saith the Lord of hosts, that I will break his yoke from off thy neck, and will burst thy bonds, and strangers shall no more serve themselves of him. Now today what we have is an invisible yoke on our necks. It's no longer physical yokes, but it's an invisible.
And the birth certificate is one that binds us to this so-called government, so on and so forth, etc.
The heathen are strangers. Verse 9. But they shall serve their Lord their God and David their king, whom I will raise up to them. We shall serve Yahweh. David will be sitting on the throne in the promised land. It will be peaceful in the promised land, and no more violence against us from other nations. Verse 10. Therefore, fear thou not, O my servant Jacob, saith the Lord, neither be dismayed, O Israel. For lo, I will save thee from afar, and thy seed from the land of their captivity, and Jacob shall return, and shall be in rest, and be quiet, and none shall make him afraid. We live in Babylon. This is the land of captivity. But Jacob shall return and be at rest, no longer be bothered by Edomites, Hamites, Moabites, or Ammonites. The Edomites are Esau, Edom the oppressor. The Hamites, we know, are the Egyptian. Those that were in Egypt, those that are stem from Ham. An example of Edomites are those in. Now, an example of the Hamite are the Sudanese. They are example of Hamites. The Moabites we know as the Chinese, and the Ammonites we know as the Japanese. So Yahushua is coming to deliver us from the captivity. And the so-called Jewish people are afraid and are terrified of this knowledge and what's going on, because they are living a lie. They call themselves the people, but they are not. Verse 11. For I am with thee, saith the Lord, to save thee. Though I make a full end of all nations, whither I have scattered thee, yet I will not make a full end of thee, but I will correct thee in measure, and will not leave thee altogether unpunished. So we, as Israel, we have to face our judgment that we're in captivity, as it was stated in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 68. Let's get that.
In other places as well, but Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68. 28, Slovakia. 28.
All right. Deuteronomy 20:68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. By the way thereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. So this is the Lord telling us way back then what was going to happen if we didn't seek him or follow his law, statutes, and commandments. We were going to go back into Egypt, which represents bondage, which represents captivity by ships taken from one place to another on ships crossing the water. Thou shalt see it no more. It's talking about Jerusalem, our land. And then we were sold unto our enemies. Examples of some enemies are the ones that we read in verse 10 from Jeremiah chapter 30 and verse 10. We were bondmen and bondwomen, basically slaves. And then when it says that no man shall buy you, when it talks about the buy, the B-U-Y, it really means redeem. No man is going to redeem us. The only one that's going to redeem us is Yahweh Shai on the day of salvation, because he is our redeemer. Okay, let's go back to the book of Jeremiah, chapter 30 and verse 12. For thus saith the Lord, thy bruise is incurable, and thy wounds is grievous. We have wounds. Our wounds are grievous. The wounds that we sustained in Babylon, the wounds that were sustained to us in on plantations, the wounds that are still being sustained on us of being shot down in the street, first fire, last hired, and so forth. Verse 13. There is none to plead thy cause, that thou mightest be bound up, that has no healing medicines. So it's not going to be somebody named Malcolm X or Jesse Jackson that's going to come and bring us out or save us or redeem us. There's no person, place, or thing, no amount of drinking alcohol, smoking cigarettes, or some type of other substance is not going to plead our cause. That is not what's going to help us. That is not what we need. Verse 14. All thy lovers have forgotten thee. They seek thee not. For I have wounded thee with the wound of an enemy, with the chastisement of a cruel one, for the multitude of thine iniquity, because thy sins were increased. So all the institutions that Israel have turned to, such as politicians, churches, United Nations, false religions, false philosophies, and the list goes on, those enemies, which are the Edomites, the oppressor, are extremely cruel enemies, and they have no mercy for us.
All right, Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68. And no man shall buy you, no man shall redeem you. Isaiah chapter 63. Start at 1. Who is this that cometh from Edom with thy garments from Bozrah? This that is glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength. I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save. Notice here, mighty to save. This is referring to Yahushai. Who is this that cometh from Edom, America, with thy garments from Bozrah? It's going to happen in America. This that is glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength. I that speak in righteousness. That's Yahushai. Mighty to save. Bozrah was the ancient capital of ancient Edom. So Yahushai is mighty to save. No man shall redeem you. No man's going to redeem us. Not no Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. It's going to be Yahushai, mighty to save. Romans chapter 11, verse 7. What then? Israel hath not obtained that which he seeketh for, but the elect hath obtained it, and the rest were blinded. The elect have obtained 100% knowledge of this truth, and the rest were blinded, 2/3 blinded. All right, all Israel, Slakia, shall be saved. I thought it was Romans 11:7. It wasn't. Romans chapter 11, verse 26. And so all Israel shall be saved, as it is written, there shall come out of Zion the deliverer, and shall turn away ungodliness from Jacob. So the elect are going to be saved, first round. The chariots are going to be changed. Through their children, the 2/3 are going to come back as their children. In order for the 2/3 to come back, that means sex has to happen with women. All right. Isaiah chapter 11, verse 6. The wolf also shall dwell with the lamb, and the leopard shall lie down with the kid, and the calf and the young lion and the fatling together, and a little child shall lead them in the kingdom. And the cow and the bear shall feed, the young ones shall lie down together, and the lion shall eat straw like the ox. And the sucking child shall play on the hole of the asp, and the weaned child shall put his hand on the cockatrice den. They shall not hurt nor destroy in all my holy mountain, for the earth shall be full of the knowledge of Yahweh as the waters cover the sea. Zechariah chapter 8, verse 5. And the streets of the city shall be full of boys and girls playing in the streets thereof. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, if it be marvelous in the eyes of the remnant of this people in these days, should it also be marvelous in mine eyes, saith Yahweh of hosts? Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, behold, I will save my people from the east country and from the west country. And I will bring them, and they shall dwell in the midst of Jerusalem, and they shall be my people, and I will be their God in truth and in righteousness. Isaiah chapter 60, verse 21. Thy people also shall be all righteous, they shall inherit the land forever. The branch of my planting, the work of my hands, that I may be glorified. In the kingdom, all the Israelites are going to be righteous. The 2/3 are going to come out, they're going to be all righteous. Even the crazy ones on this side. Tuesdays and the Wednesdays and so on and so forth. A little one shall become 1,000, and a small one a strong nation. I, Yahweh, will hasten it in his time. A little one shall become 1,000, and a small one a strong nation. That's a lot of children. Jeremiah chapter 31, verse 31. Behold, the days come, saith Yahweh, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which my covenant they break, although I was an husband unto them, saith Yahweh. But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith Yahweh. I will put my law in their inward parts and write it in their hearts, and will be their God, and they shall be my people, and they shall teach no more every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, Know Yahweh, for they shall all know me, from the least of them unto the greatest of them, saith Yahweh. For I will forgive their iniquity, and I will remember their sin no more.
Where were you?
All right, that was Jeremiah chapter 31, verse 31, 34. Yeah, the kingdom, new covenant. Which now, if you go back to Isaiah chapter 60, a little one shall become 1,000, and a strong one, and a small one, a strong nation. That's a lot of children. And children don't come from geese flying in the sky. That's from sex. That's a lot of it in the kingdom. All right, with that, Shalom. Kal Halal.
Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai Bahashem Rakakadash.
Barakatah Yahweh.
Barakatah Yahweh Shai.
Shalom.
Shalom.